All right, let's talk about something real. Ever had that feeling, that nagging voice in your head that says you're a fraud? That you're just one mistake away from everyone finding you out? Well, that feeling has a name. It's called imposter syndrome. And today, we're not just going to define it, we're going to flip the script on it and figure out how to turn that doubt into a serious sign of growth.
So, does this hit close to home? That feeling like you're about to be found out? I bet a lot of you are nodding along right now. And if you are, here's the thing you need to know. You are so not alone. You're actually in the majority here.
How big a majority? Well, get this. Studies suggest that a whopping 80% of people have felt this way at some point. 80! So let's be super clear. This is not some personal failing. It's a deeply human, almost universal experience.
So what is it exactly? At its core, it's this huge gap between what everyone else sees and what you feel inside. You've got the proof, right? The accomplishments, the praise, the good feedback, but your brain just dismisses it all. Any success you have? Oh, that was just luck. Or, well, I worked really hard that one time. It's never because you're actually skilled or deserving. And that just feeds the fear that you're not really good enough.
And if you need more proof you're not alone, look at the company you're in. We're talking about Albert Einstein. He literally called himself a voluntary swindler. Or the amazing Maya Angelou. After writing 11 books, she's still worried, oh, they're going to find me out now. Even Lady Gaga admits she sometimes feels like a loser from high school. This just goes to show this isn't some beginner's problem. Ironically, the more you accomplish, the louder that voice can get.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. What does this feeling of being a fraud actually, feel like? What's that inner monologue saying? Because it's not just a little bit of self-doubt now and then. Nope, it's more like a constant, draining soundtrack playing on repeat in your head.
And this is such a perfect way to think about it. It really is like running a super heavy resource-hogging program in the background of your brain all day, every day. That endless loop of, what if they find out? What if I'm not good enough? It just sucks up your mental energy. It's no wonder it leads straight to stress, burnout, and just feeling totally exhausted.
Now, this feeling doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's actually part of a really sneaky, vicious cycle. And here's the crazy part. The way we try to cope with the feeling is often the very thing that keeps us stuck in it.
Okay, let's break this cycle down. First, you get a new challenge, right? And boom, instant anxiety. So what do? You cope. Maybe you procrastinate, or maybe you do the opposite and you over-prepare, working way harder than anyone else. Then you succeed. But instead of feeling good, you tell yourself, whew, I only did that because I worked myself to the bone. Or, man, I just got really lucky that time. You never give yourself credit for your actual skill. And that just proves to your brain that you're a fraud, setting the whole thing up to happen again next time. It's a trap.
And it's important to know that this whole imposter thing can show up in different ways for different people. It often falls into one of these 5 common profiles. You've got the perfectionist, where one tiny mistake means total failure. The superhuman, who feels like they have to outwork everyone just to keep up. The natural genius, who thinks if they don't get it right on the first try, they're a total fake. The rugged individualist, who thinks asking for help is a sign of weakness. And the expert, who needs to know everything before they start. See if you recognize yourself in any of these, because just knowing your pattern is a massive first step.
So the big question is, how do we get out of this cycle? The usual advice is to, fight back, argue with those negative thoughts. But what if that's not the answer? There's a really radical shift in thinking, and it's all about changing your relationship to the thought, not the thought itself.
This right here, this is the game changer. Look at the difference. Common advice tells you to fight the thought, to prove it wrong. But this new approach, it's about detachment. It's about just letting the thought pass by. Imagine a cloud floating through the sky. You don't have to grab it and wrestle with it. You can just watch it go. The goal isn't to silence the voice in your head. That's probably impossible. The goal is to just stop spending so much time and energy paying attention to it. Here's a great way to think about it. Your brain is kind of like a social media algorithm. Whatever you click on, whatever you spend time on, the algorithm shows you more of it. It's the exact same with your thoughts. The more you dwell on and worry about an imposter thought, the more you're training your brain to serve you up that same thought again and again. So the trick is to just stop engaging, stop feeding the algorithm.
Yeah, it really boils down to this. Those worries, those doubts, they aren't problems you have to solve. They're just thoughts. They're like mental pop-up ads. You don't have to click on them. For a lot of people, this is the aha moment, realizing that trying so hard to fix the feeling was actually the thing keeping them stuck in the first place.
Okay, that's the big idea. But what does this actually look like day to day?
Let's move from theory to practice and put together a toolkit of actual strategies you can start using, like right now.
All right, here's a super practical technique you can use. It's a simple 3-step reframe. Step 1, identify. Just notice the thought as it shows up. No judgment, just, there's that thought again. Step 2, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought 100% true? What evidence do I have that it's not true? And finally, step 3, reframe. Actively replace that thought with something more balanced, more realistic.
Let's walk through a real example. Say the negative thought is, I'm totally not prepared for this presentation. Okay, that's step 1. Now challenge it. Wait a minute, I spent all weekend on this. I've given good presentations before. So the reframe becomes, I am well prepared and I'm capable of doing a great job. And notice, this isn't about lying to yourself or toxic positivity. It's about grounding your thoughts in what's actually true.
And beyond those in-the-moment fixes, you can build some really solid long-term habits. Try keeping a success diary, just a simple list of things you've accomplished. It gives you hard data to fight back with. Or try this one, worry postponement. Literally schedule 10 minutes at 5 p.m. to worry. What you'll find is that you're in control of the thoughts, not the other way around. And probably the most important one, talk about it. Share how you're feeling with someone you trust. Imposter syndrome loves isolation. Dragging it into the light is one of the best things you can do.
Okay, and here is a fantastic little trick, and it's kind of fun. Give your inner critic a silly name. Seriously, call it Gremlin Gary or Nervous Nancy or whatever. So next time that voice pipes up with, "You're gonna fail," you can just say, "Oh, settle down, Gary." It sounds simple, but it creates this little bit of distance. It makes it so much harder to take that voice seriously when it has a goofy name.
All right, let's bring this all home with the biggest, most powerful mindset shift of them all. We've been talking about how to fight this feeling, how to manage it, but what if it's not a problem at all? What if that feeling of self-doubt is actually a sign that you're doing something right?
There's this great quote that says, all growth happens at the edge of our comfort zone. Just think about that for a second. When are you actually growing? It's when you're trying something new, pushing your boundaries, stepping into the unknown. And what does that feel like? Well, it feels kind of scary. It feels uncertain. It feels a whole lot like imposter syndrome.
So here's the final thought I want to leave you with. The next time that feeling creeps in, that I'm a fraud feeling, try this. Instead of taking it as proof that you're inadequate, what if you took it as proof that you are pushing yourself, that you are right where you need to be on the very edge of your abilities, learning and growing? What if that feeling isn't a sign you're a fraud, but the price you pay for being brave enough to try?